Please remember to subscribe, click like, and click the bell icon for all notifications on this channel. While restoring an old Iowa farmhouse, Sam discovers a time portal in a storm cellar that transports him to 1919. That is the premise of the first episode of the newly revamped and newly resurrected full-time television series from 1985, Amazing Stories. And what I love about the series is that it starts off with that classic, didn't even touch it, they didn't even update it or anything. It sounds like the original the theme to the series. Big fan of the original series, and this episode really, really just the ball rolling. I really, really enjoyed it. Very, very touching, very heartwarming, also very tragic, and also really, really makes you sad. Um, you know, because of what happened with the characters and situations that took place. Like the guy I said, like in this, in the intro, the summary, the guy named Sam works with his brother, and they're like renovating this old house, and it's during the storm, and it's a real strong, real heavy hitting storm that seemingly you find out it only happened one time before, and that was like 100 years ago. And what happens is that he gets this ringing in his ears that once the barometer, dips low, and he got transported not only to 1919, but he's in the same house, and it's the same, but it's all, of course, it's not run down. It's not in need of renovations or anything. It's how the house looked when it was first built. And he meets this girl named Evelyn, and it's a girl that he saw in a picture, like when him and his brother in 2019 were looking at this old cigarette box, this old box, and seen her picture. And then he notices her, and even immediately right away says, "That's her." And of course, at first she's shocked. She has a shotgun and ready to blow his brains out if he doesn't get the hell out of her house. And then her mom arrives, and he gets out just in time. The character of Evelyn is a real sweet character, a real somebody that you will really feel for. She ends up because her family's poor, so her mother put her in a situation where she's in an arranged marriage with a guy that has 3 kids. He lost his wife to influenza, and the guy is pretty bad news. You can kind of tell. I mean, he's nice and everything, but you can tell underneath all that niceness, there's something there. And you find out later on that he's a brute, man. You know what I mean? And there's that one instance where he's pretty much saying that, no, you're gonna marry me. Like it was good because what happened was she's a singer, beautiful voice, and while she was at her engagement party, they take a walk. Him and Sam and Evelyn, they end up going to this club. Well, at first it's like a pharmacy, and then on the cigarette box that was on that cigarette, what do you call that, the matchbox that he had in that cigarette holder in present time, there was a thing called cabbage, a word written right there. And apparently that belonged to I believe it in the end. I'll go to that later, but he sees that, so he's thinking to himself, maybe that's what the password is. And I think he saw that. I think the matchbox that you find later, he gets it at this underground club. He said cabbage. Like a guy says, "What do you want to drink?" He goes, "Okay, we got root beer." He goes, "No, I want something with a little cabbage in it." And then the guy is kind of goes, "Hmm." And then he goes, "Follow me." He opens up the hidden door. I mean, the hidden door, but the secret door, a door that looks just like a wall. Goes down there, and there's these guys clubbing, and they're like, guys singing jazz. I guess it's jazz or whatever you want to call it, the kind of music. And then Sam gets her to go on stage and sing. He even says, "Okay, heads or tails," because she goes, "Why don't you eat a cup of dirt?" Like saying, "No, I'm not gonna go up there and sing." And then he's all, "Okay, I'll flip a coin." And whatever it says, if I'll eat a cup of dirt. If it hits tails and if it hits heads, you got to go up there and sing. And then, of course, it hits what she chose, so she had to go up and sing. And beautiful song, and she has a beautiful voice, an amazing, amazing voice. And she kind of definitely floors the crowd, and they're all into her, and they're applauding and stuff like that. And they go outside, and then the mom is there and basically shoos him away because she had like a record collection, and she likes listening to the modern music of that time, right? And mother's like, give me the record collection. I don't want your soon to be husband to know that you've listened to that kind of music. And then he comes up with a real quick, witted thing to say, no, I'm no Emmett. Like, if I remember correctly, Emmett is the name of Evelyn's late brother that died, and he goes, well, I'm Emmett's friend, and she goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. They went to the daughter goes, Evelyn goes, oh, he went to medical school with him. So kind of like so she goes, okay. The mom goes, okay, here's your record collection, and then mom leaves, and then he gives it back to her. So right then and there, there's a little bit of respect for each other, and later on, they do fall for each other. A lot of things he had to go through, a lot of you know situations that really could have gotten them in more trouble than they did. He bumps into well, he goes to the Gator party. He meets her grandfather who built that house, 40 years prior, and has a friend there, and he talks about like the conversation gets around to the storm. He's talking about ringing in the air, and he goes, "Oh, that happens when the barometer drops." And so he figures out, okay, I got to be right there when the barometer drops again. And then they had a whole week before that. For the storm lasts for a week, and then after that, there's no turning back. There's no way to. So he did a bunch of times. He got to the basement. He put the thing back because he realized that he put that up there. You know, and it turns out later on that it's like a Terminator thing where he went back. And the barometer, the barometer was there when they got there. When they went to renovate the house, and he figured, what, I gotta go, I gotta put this on the same place because I put it there before. It's just one of those things, where and they end up falling in love. To make it short, long story short, and they decided they're gonna run away because she wanted to run away. You know, because she didn't want to be in that marriage. He sees her, Sam sees her, and says, why don't you go with me? We can go back to 2019. She's like, what do you mean we? And after talking, she agrees. And now the picture that he saw in that cigarette box or the box that was in like a hidden place, in one of the fireplace, like the banister thing on the side. And he saw a picture of her, right? And then she talks about, oh, I haven't taken a picture yet, but then we see that she's about to take the picture, and she hears a storm, right? Because they know that if a storm hits a real bad one, that's when the ringing in the air will happen when you're down there in the basement or the cellar. So she runs. She's like, I got a headache. I'm not feeling good. She runs, right? And when she gets there, they're about to go down. But what happens is that it's filled with water. And Sam was going back and forth. There was even a time when he went back, right? And he saw her in the future, like 2034. She had a son named Sam. And he gets out of there because he made a little noise. He stepped on a toy. And he got out of there in time, came back, and notices that he's in water. When he gets her and they come back, it's totally like up to their, that if they go in the water, it's going to be way above their head. Now she kind of hesitated because I guess, I don't know if she was scared of the water. She didn't know how to swim, whatever, right? And then a banister falls down, or a pillar or something, traps his leg. He can't get up. And she's trying her hardest to push it. And he pretty much tells her, go, because I see you in the future. I see you with a child. She's like, is it our child? Like, no, it's not our child. So he says, so he has her go. So when she gets in the water, you kind of see it swirling a little bit, and all of a sudden, boom, she's right there in present day 2019, and her brother's there. and he tells her about how he did nothing but talk about her love, her great singing voice, everything about her that's nice, pleasant, and everything. And what happened with Sam is that he waited a year. He already knew, but he figured I'm gonna try. So hopefully there's going to be a storm hitting. And according to like something he read earlier in the episode, that it only happened like 100 years. It happened like 100 years later. But out there he says that it's a because he knew in 2019 that the real big storm hit, and then he finds out later on that it hit like that during that time, during 1919. So he knew that it wasn't going to, it wasn't going to hit again for like another 100 years. So he was stuck there. What happened was he left, you know, his brother said, you know what, these are old walls. So he broke down one part of the wall, and then there was two letters, one for his brother and one for Evelyn. She reads the note, the letter, pretty much tells him that she was meant to be there in the future, and he was meant to be in the past. And he even after a year, he waited for another storm, and it never came. So he said to himself, I've realized that I belong here, and that you know this is where I need to be, and that's where you need to be. And she ended up like that. There's that poster that promotes a upcoming appearance by her. So she made it. She hit it as a singer, and she's like a headliner. You know what I mean? And she has she has a son named Sam, like I said earlier. And so she moved on, and she was able to have a life and have a kid. They didn't show whether or not she had a husband or not. I'm pretty sure she did, but they didn't show it. And he's in the past. He has his own, you know, uh, construction thing with his name on there, Sam. Sam Taylor. I think his last name was Sam Taylor, but it had his name on there. And the thing about it though is that he sent his brother a letter. And it's just a simple note. It says, "Go and build your dream house." And he had a Honus Wagner, an original Honus Wagner from his time, 1919 or something. So that thing is worth, like they were saying. Even Sam said it's worth $1 million. So he's got that Honus Wagner card, and for those of you who are familiar with that, it's like one of the rare cards and one of the most sought after cards. And it's so rare. That's the reason why it costs so much. So it's like he definitely is going to be able to cash that in for a lot of money and be able to build, a house with his husband. And him and his husband adopted Sam's brother and his husband adopted a daughter, a beautiful girl named what was her name? April, I think, right? I believe so. And that's that. For this episode, a lot of things. I mean, there was that one moment when she had run away in her wedding dress, and they were gonna about to go at that, and then wait a minute, because I know I said that she was in her wedding dress, the pictures, and then she went, and then it was flooded. But what happened was initially that when she ran down, she ran to meet with him, and then her husband, pretty much her husband to be, pretty much saying, "I knew this was happening. And you're not gonna get away. You're going to marry me." And I was like that. And then he had two thugs beat up Sam. Oh, and then like when yeah, and then there's the next time they tried, and he was at the window. It was storming, and they go, "Let's go." So they both go, and then that's when the water was pretty much the cellar was filling up, pretty badly with water, and then that's when the whole thing with the banister crapping his leg, and she ends up going back to 2019. I mean 2019. Right. But it's definitely an episode that you know it really is along the lines with amazing stories. Uh, I'm trying to remember if this is like maybe a remake of one of the episodes. I don't know because I could kind of see them maybe one or two episodes, maybe one episode, but I don't know. I was thinking to myself, looking up the old series and probably looking at it and seeing whether or not, because sometimes you do that. But I don't know. I don't think I remember this. But then again, it's been a long time since I've seen Amazing Stories. I think I've seen it during its first run, and then I think that was it. But I fell in love with the series like that. And this one is definitely no different. I love this episode. I really, really fell in love with the characters, and I think Sam and Evelyn would have been great together. But then even Sam was like, you belong in the future in 2019. I belong here. Like, I guess he figures he's a simple guy with simple needs and didn't really need the phone, didn't really need the internet, and surround sound, speakers in every corner of the house to listen to music all through the. She even asked that about his brother. Like, I thought there was supposed to be music all over the house. But of course, when she arrived through that time portal, she ended up in the old house that needed renovating. It wasn't as beautiful and as pristine as her house as it was when she was living in it in 1919. But that's my review and my thoughts on the Cellar series, the episode number one of Amazing Stories. Well done. I love the story. I love the use of just the way that the time portal was. Like, it's something that I've never heard of before. It's kind of unique, for him to the way for him to travel. And you just have that you have that, God, what's that word? But you have that window. There you go. That window of time. Because if you don't hit that window of time, there's no turning back. You're not going to be able to go back to where you came from or go where you want to go. So yeah, great job. I love this to those and producers, directors, whomever they are. Steven Spielberg is the producer of this, and he's the one that based characters. The Amazing Stories was based on stories written by Steven Spielberg. And yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. It was really just well done. I mean, well done, and I loved every bit of it. And I'm looking forward to the next episode. I believe they're going to be doing this week to week because on Apple TV, my app, I only saw this episode, so that's a good thing. Kind of keeps it out there a little bit longer instead of binging it like that. Because I really don't believe in doing that. I'll do it for a special series or a special, like I do that with Cobra Kai, because it's so good that I just kept watching, keep watching, keep watching. I might try to stretch that out when they do release season three, because season three is coming out now. But no confirmation on what date. But they already finished it and everything. It's in the can. Every post production and all that stuff is done, from what I read. So anyway, that's my video. And for those of you who stopped by and checked out the video, I appreciate it. And I appreciate those of you who support my channel. And my sub count's going up and up. I noticed I lost one sub, but then I picked up back up again with two more, three more. So that's cool. I mean, I don't ask for much, but it's so nice when I see my sub counts in the positive, and what more can you ask for, right? So like I said again, that's my video, and in closing, and as always, take care.